I keep my feelings locked up, but you're the only one that really gets to me and really sees me. I've been trying to hide it.
All right, coming to you live from the living room. We got another artist spotlight. This man is more than an artist to me. He's a friend. We known each other how many years now? Like 4 or 5? Almost about 4 or 5?
Definitely 5. 5.
We met randomly at a show you were doing. It was for charity, I believe, so right?
Yeah.
We met at a show he was doing for charity. I think you were doing a homeless clothing drive, if I remember correctly. And ever since then, we linked up.
Raps
and it was
for raps.
Say it again.
Raps for raps.
Raps for raps.
Raps for raps.
Yeah, it was around. I want to say Thanksgiving. I want to say it was a Thanksgiving. You were trying to put something together.
It was Tay's birthday. Yeah, we did it for like around like Tay's birthday. We was commemorating Tay's birthday.
Yeah,
she did the show for her birthday, and she wanted it to be free.
Yeah,
like a community give back drive.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. And then so we've been cool ever since. Every time I was able to reach out and just like support, that's we always done that, and vice versa. And we got leader of the real, Walt.
What's good? Yeah, man. Like you said, man, leader of the real, Walt, man. I'm in here, man. It's time. It's good to see you, though, bro. It's
you too. I know it's like we ain't seen each other in person in a minute, but it's like how it is with social media. It's nothing like that in-person interaction. And the pandemic and all that stuff. Like it's actually pretty cool to see people and not have masks on, and you start to build that rapport with being cool, doing handshakes and hugging people once again. It's kind of weird, right? Like getting back to that norm.
Bro, I hate all of that shit. Yeah. I'm such a people person, bro. As much as I love people, I hate people. That's the what I'm saying? That's the dichotomy. That's just like the spectrum in it all. But it's like I thrive in human to human interaction. It's like you know what I'm saying, it's nothing like it, nothing beats it. You know what I'm saying? Like this social media, this what I'm saying, virtual reality bullshit, like I can't, like it's so hard. I hate
Zoom calls, I hate Zoom shows, I hate oh my god, I hate all that
like
stuff.
I get it, and I would rather show up to a meeting than to, I ain't gonna lie, nah, if it depending on it, like if I can show up to a virtual meeting and it's for like somebody else's, like but if it's me and I want to have to conduct business, I would love to do it always in person. But of course, that is the benefit too, because when you do move in certain ways, technology becomes a benefit.
Absolutely.
So you can kind of have those.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what do you have going on in the community right now?
Right now, everything is still moving as far as living amendment. We have. Can
you explain what living amendment is for the people that don't know?
Living amendment is essentially a artist collective that my best friend and I, Shante, started back in 2016.
Okay.
And we started living amendment after her and I were homeless in Atlanta for about like 4 or 5 months, like during like the winter. And Tay has like lupus, so like she has chronic like rheumatoid arthritis, so like it's like during the coldest months of the year, during winter, drops, like, the at least 3 of them, you know what I'm saying, like December, January, no, it was like January, February, March. And, Atlanta, that shit just so bipolar.
I dated someone that had lupus, and when she would have her crisis, I saw how painful they were. I saw how painful they were. There's absolutely nothing you can do other than try to be there and just. It's like watching somebody give birth, but it's like no life at the end of it. It's just this aching pain.
Remember, we used to literally be in the car, and then we'll have like a bunch of blankets on in the front like the front seat and shit. And I would like have the car like just like cranked up, and we'll have the heat blasting for like maybe like 2-3 hours, and then like. We got to conserve gas, so we got to turn it off. So like we'll just fall until we fall asleep. Then I'll cut off the like car. I'll just like wait till she fall asleep and shit. And then when I woke up, you know what I'm saying, whenever we woke up
Yeah.
and then like knew like, okay, it's getting cold again, I just like started
back up.
you know what I'm saying, started it all over again type shit. Like it was.
Can you speak to how you guys met? Because you said you guys were homeless before you met, or you guys met while you were homeless?
Nah. Okay, so me and Tay met. We were working at Olive Garden.
Okay.
I was a server bartender there, and she was at that time. She was a pro. She wasn't a manager yet.
Okay.
So like I'm like a tenured, you know, like employee, that like one of the main employees, and I done seen a bunch of managers come and go, and you know, Tay, she come into the restaurant popping her shit like she a pro, like, you know what I'm saying, and I'm in here like, bro, like this is my restaurant, bro, like you not finna, yo, who are you? Like you not even the manager, bro. You just like
you knew,
you know what I'm saying? You like a supervisor, right?
Like,
You're just like a supervisor. You just got a key type shit, and so, but like ultimately she did come in, she made some change, and then she got promoted into management and ultimately became a GM. And so from there, like once we clicked from my original spot, we just linked from there. And then I remember like she actually one day when she was a GM, we were both working at the same location, because I ended up working at her location when she became a GM.
Yeah.
And she woke up, she was like, should I go back to work? She had just been stressing out, and we had a gym. She was just the front of the house manager. And she was like, should I go back to work? I was like, bro, you do everybody job in there. Even when the people be at work, like you do everybody job, because you just like are always trying to make sure that we look good as a team. I was like, no, like if you don't feel like if you're questioning it, you shouldn't be there. And she was like, all right, I ain't gonna go. She just literally cashed her shit in, and we started living the amendment.
Gotcha.
Like,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? Like it was
so
like.
What's the goal? What was the original goal for living amendment?
To eradicate homelessness.
Okay.
Like,
can you speak to that? Because I've worked with you guys in a few separate occasions, and we never really got into the details. It was more so, how can I help that time? And how, you know, every time I was working with you guys, can you speak towards the plight of a person that's homeless, what a night is like, versus the depiction of the way people look at homelessness?
I mean,
outside of you know, crazy drug addicts, mental health, crazy people, all the stigmas that come with that. Can you speak more to like how other people get that situation twisted?
Well, it's unfortunate, because just like somebody who might have tried crack when it first came out, not knowing what it was gonna do, or like the repercussions of your actions, you know what I'm saying, and where it can like take you. Like seeing a lot of the people that we dealt with, and just being from where I'm from, and like understanding, like they've always been people. It's just been that the circumstance. Like there's been stories of people who just came to visit Atlanta and got robbed, and like now you stuck here because you don't have any identification, you don't have a phone. You know what I'm saying? They took everything. Like, so how the fuck do I get home if I can't get in contact with nobody? I don't know nobody number. You know what I'm saying? And it just becomes a cycle. Like. And there
or
are
even
people,
like a night in jail that can lead to another charge on another charge, and then next thing you know, depression sets in, something like that.
There's a lot of different circumstances where just life happens. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody's human, like, and if like
everybody thinks it'd never be me,
but you want like a lot of us are living below the poverty standard in the first place.
Well,
so
a lot of people don't know that.
We living below the poverty standard anyway, so it's like we already surviving as in just like getting by, like, and so like one paycheck, a lot of people just like that, like you can be, you know what I'm saying, shit, if niggas wasn't not allowed to just, you know what I'm saying, get evicted during this COVID shit, like what you think will be happening? Like a lot of people wouldn't have a lot of shit to just stand on, or just even know how to survive, let alone. And it takes a lot of courage to get up and build yourself from there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you don't got nothing.
What's the scariest night you had being homeless?
I don't know if I had any like scariest nights, but I think like my biggest like I had a lot of concerning nights, like just dealing with Tay, just not
her health.
Yeah, with her health, and just because like one, stress, and just like having a chronic like illness and not being able to always see the pain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like was really humbling and just like fucking frightening at the same time, because I really don't know how to.
There's no consoling it, really.
Right.
There's no
like,
consoling it.
She used to hate me because I was like, you need some water, like, like I know, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm just thinking like, what, like, because
you're trying to comfort somebody in a situation, but you're trying to be a friend, but it's nothing you can do.
Yeah, because I used to watch when we used to go to the hospitals and shit. It was like, they didn't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? It was like they were trying to figure it out. It was just literally like, all right, let's give you like some morphine or like some pain pills so we can numb the pain to get you to like calm down. But there's nothing.
You wait toward
exactly. That's why I got her smoking weed in the first place. Like,
just medicinal.
Yeah, of course. Like she needed that, because I was just like, yo, like you taking steroids and shit like that, and like it's causing your body to break down. I was like, bro, if it's anybody in the world that I've ever seen that needs to smoke weed, like it needs to be you. Like you need to calm the fuck down. But you know what I'm saying? Like you see her now, like she took it and then ran with it. The real CBD lady is out of here. Like you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? Like she took that little seed of me planting that and just did what she was supposed to do with it. Like she became everything who she was.
What was your first event that you planned as far as taking that step towards helping the homeless?
Our brand, well, we were already doing things to help in our own way. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt just like I said, that person to person, like, you know what I'm saying, we would, like I said, the Cafe 458, you know, Cafe 458 used to be a full nonprofit restaurant on Sundays.
You said it used to be. Is that out of business?
Yeah, it's no longer. The restaurant isn't still going on. I mean, Atlanta ACSS is still there, but the restaurant isn't.
Was it because of COVID or is it over before?
I believe it was either. I believe COVID had something to do with it, if I had to be honest. Okay. Because I want to say it was either right before.
Can you explain to the people what Cafe 458 was?
Yeah, so Cafe 458 was sponsored by Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency. Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency, yeah. And they had a full-scale nonprofit cafe restaurant every Sunday. And so it was, everybody in there was volunteers, but all of the proceeds went to ACSS to help the cause of helping those who had homeless by Monday through Friday, sponsoring classes such as giving them like resume building skills, just like job and person interactions, resources for. They also like took in clothing donations, so we would take the clothes and the food from Cafe 458 after we used to, you know what I'm saying, finish volunteering and take it out into the community and just pass those things out, because like a lot of those people would either be at ACSS or a part of the same organizations and like, you know, things of sponsorship that they were trying to get, access to.
One thing that I noticed when volunteering, when we used to do the plates and the pass out clothes, socks. I didn't realize how important socks were. Socks and shoes. And something just as small as socks. And then I thought about it. Like one of my pet peeves is when my shoes get wet or my socks get wet.
Yeah.
And then you think about it from a person that's homeless. We all have this moment where we become judgmental because we just don't know their life. We so far removed from it, right? Yeah. And you would see a person this summertime and they got layers of clothing on. Yeah. And you don't understand where that person would generate from, that type of idea, right? Until you examine it a little bit further. And even with me, like, I've been in situations where I lived in Wisconsin, so it gets really cold up there. And cold socks, wet feet, or just the wrong type of clothing in the wrong type of weather, it could lead to a very unpleasant night, if not death.
I mean, frostbite is a motherfucker, especially in you know what I'm saying, up north. And shit, I was
even down here. Down here, I didn't realize. You don't think about how cold it gets at night to a person that's on the street until you're like, wow, it's really, really bad out there.
I mean, thank God we had a car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and that's just
we had my car, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, we still had some type of shelter. Like, I was so thankful for the fact that we had a car during that time. Because if we didn't have a car, shit, like, you know what I'm saying? That would have been a completely different you know what I'm saying?
It would have been a completely environment.
That would have been whole nother type of story. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? Like, but... You know, socks, man. Socks are the number one most needed thing to anybody that's homeless. I mean, you can use them as mittens. Of course, you need them for your feet. Mm-hmm. You can use them as wash rags. You can use them, you know what I'm saying, for cleaning. Like, shit, people use them as toothbrushes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
word?
I mean, think about it. It's just like the friction of just like the inside out of a rag. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, I mean,
I never thought about that.
Like, it's just like so fucking resourceful in the sense of like, I didn't see it, bro.
Well, I never thought of it like that. I mean, because you never know what you would use something for until you're in that position sometimes. So you just never think of it in that sense. One thing that I hear people talk about frequently is, and it's usually they're joking and being petty, but when a person is homeless and they ask you for money or they ask for food, and then a person offers food and like, no, I don't eat that. Can you speak to that more, where that may come from?
Bro, we human, bro. Like, and I can't be mad. Like, that's what we learned. And I had to check my ego, bro. Like, because me and Tay used to be out there, and at first, like, I could understand that. Like, of course, you feel some type of way, but it's like, bro, like, I don't eat certain shit, bro. Like, I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
Like, and so what I have for you, like, what I have to offer for you isn't for you. You know what I'm saying? It's for somebody else, like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's gonna get what they, you know what I'm saying, what it is that they need, but you know, like, you just got to check your ego at the door for it, bro. Because, like, I mean, I used to feel some type of way about it, but it's like, bro, like, everybody don't eat everything. Like,
that's right.
Because if I was homeless and the nigga be like, hey, bro, I got some pork chops, I'm like, bro, I ain't ate pork in so long, bro, I'm just gonna throw up. So like, bro, I'm just grateful. Like, like, something else gonna come. Like, I'll praise it. Like, I'm just gonna.
And I realized that when we used to hand out the plates, and then the guys would ask you what's in the plate, and I'll tell them, and they're like, no, I don't eat that. and then coffee, I don't drink coffee, and then like, but I didn't think about it. It's warm, warms your body up inside out, and there's like coffee and socks were like premium out on the street.
Facts. Shout out. I didn't realize that. Shout out to, well, I mean, he don't got it no more, but my boy used to have a coffee shop over on the west side, Good Cup of Coffee. Yeah. So they used to always give us coffee. And then Brad Doing from Bronson used to give us coffee too and shit like that. So it was dope. Like, I mean, we had, bro, it was such a blessing, bro, because we didn't have a lot of licensing and certificates and like all of the shit that people tell you that you need, bro. We just had a lot of resources and just told people our fucking story. Yeah, we had like, our community was so beautiful, and like the way that it like just blossomed to what it is now. You know what I'm saying?
What I learned with working with nonprofits and volunteering is how it's kind of like this theory. Well, I'm sorry, there was a study done about couples that have the bigger beds. They have a higher chance of breaking up because when they get mad at each other, they can sleep farther apart. Yeah. If you have a smaller bed, you're forced to sleep closer together. So if you're arguing, go to bed at night, you're forced to talk about it because it's hard to sleep next to somebody while you're mad, right? Yeah. With people, when you have limited resources or limited income, you're forced to become closer together, and there becomes all this cross-pollination that goes on in a sense of sharing. I don't have this, but you have this, and we put these two things together, and we have something that benefits both of us. Right. And it doesn't come with so many conditions. It's just all about survival or just helping the fellow man without any kickback being negotiated off top or expected, or a person gives $1 and they expect 100 in return. That happens with people that generate money or live in a different tax bracket in which they have this thing where they consistently just always look for the kickback, or what is it doing for me? That's one thing that I really notice about giving back to people and working within certain communities and pockets of culture is how close people get. Do you feel like as you transition from certain places in life and gotten better in certain areas, or made a little bit more money, you feel like you've lost some of that, or you still remember that and it's like enhanced who you are now? Hell
no. That's why I thrive at, because it's like I haven't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't even been able to do what it is I truly want to do on a full scale, because like I said, like these have like a lot of the things that we did do, there was not a lot of money, like, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of like, we had a lot of people who just truly believed and loved the message and was willing, like, you volunteered, bro, and it wasn't until afterwards where we were able to have more events, and when you became consistent and now you were a part of our team, where we were able to pay you. You know what I'm saying? It was like, in certain respects, bro, it's like, we had to, it was just like, we didn't have a lot, so we had to do what we could with them and make the most of that shit. And like, that's, to me, was the beautiful part about it. Like I said, like, I mean, me, Tay, and Sean, like I said, bro, we used to be in that fucking studio apartment, the three of us, this motherfucker drawing some of the most masterful
for Sean,
ass.
For people that don't know, Sean is an artist,
bro. The dopest nigga I have seen.
He did a live painting no, it wasn't a live painting. I ran into him ironically, because you know how the city is when it comes to artistry. Like, people go to certain places and you run into certain people in the communities. I think I was at what's that?
My nigga Sean going crazy.
What's that,
nigga Sean go crazy.
It was Bakari's, right? Bakari's, he used to do live paintings at Bakari's.
No, Apache.
He was there too. He was there too.
He did them at
Bakari's, that spot at the West End, right?
Yeah.
I ran into him randomly there, and he was doing a live painting. And then every time I see Sean, it's just always love, man. And I got so much love for that dude. So it's so cool. He actually did a painting for my artist. We had a video concept where I had like a sipping paint type of setup, treatment. Yeah. And he came in and he's like provided all the equipment, and then like he set everything up to make it look like we were doing an art class, and it was just dope. Like, he's just dope, man. It is funny how like all these connections and like how this came from. It came from me just randomly walking into a place and said, I'm a volunteer, and just get out the house and do something outside of myself. And
that's what I'm saying. That tells you a lot about like the overall like essence of truly of like what was happening then. You know what I'm saying? It really, like, that's what I'm saying. That's what puts in the perspective of not only like then, because we appreciate it, because we were able to experience it and live it, you know what I'm saying, and kind of like be in the moment, you know what I'm saying, but being now, you know what I'm saying, being in our like elements and living life in a way that we've always imagined, without still fully having the like full totality of the finances and the full, like, using our full, our resources to like our full ability, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like we only tapping into that, you know what I'm saying, really. So like now, 5 years later, getting into like the next end of the decade, you know what I'm saying, the next end of the cycle, because it's like, bro, we really then, like, we didn't have a lot, bro. So like now what we truly are, and like the shit that we gonna have access to is only gonna be so much more telling when we do this, like,
and much more appreciated.
Of course, always. Like, we gotta stay there.
What made me bring that up is looking at a lot of people that have relationship problems, and a lot of people that made life adjustments during COVID, being locked down, forced to be with their families, forced to be in a relationship in which they weren't doing anything except having each other's company. And a lot of people couldn't deal with that. And
a lot of people can't deal with themselves.
That's right. And that's how they survived in a lot of these relationships, or even survive with whether it's a father and a mother, or same-sex situation, or just a person that has their kids. A lot of people didn't understand they had a structure in which they had some sort of escape from the life that they were trying to run from.
Yeah.
And then you were forced to sit down and deal with it. And a lot of people had to make adjustments internally and externally. And that's one thing that I noticed with this. And it goes back to like what we're talking about, this community of people just sharing and caring for each other and supporting one another in so many different ways, where it's funny. I've always heard, you see all these memes of people that move to Atlanta. It's like, I've noticed, and I actually experienced it myself, where a stranger would do something for you that met you last week, that you have a person in your life that knowing you your entire life, it would not do anything close to that.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's funny. Is like, it gives you it revitalizes your hope in humanity in a sense, if you ever lost it.
I like to call like moments like that like winks from God, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like confirmation or affirmation to like your purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the fact that you can get something so necessary from a stranger that you can't get from people that you feel like are close or don't have the same level of intimacy or level of understanding. Then it just, like you said, that it definitely revitalizes you, and it definitely gives you another sense of like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just when I was wanted to, I was at my last of maybe changing my thought process or maybe reverting back to a toxic or bad habit. Yeah. Something just catches you. You know what I'm saying?
It says it's not, everyone's not like that. Pulls you back. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I also speak to this. There are situations in which you have people that reach out to you and you don't know how to receive it because you've never experienced it before. And I think a lot of people don't know how to navigate that. That's a very difficult thing to do. There's a lot of people that you help them and then they're like, what's the catch? And I know I have a tendency to do that, where I would rather go without versus asking for help, because a lot of times the people in my life or like certain people in the family, there's always a catch. So when someone just genuinely like is offering a service, or there's like a person just like giving me something, I'm like, I don't trust it. And I really had to learn how to trust and believe that there's a different philosophy than the one that I grew up understanding based on experience versus, you know, other people didn't grow up the way I did. And because that works in different ways, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Yeah. In the sense that I say that even in my thought process and now and how I like choose to move forward, like I like accept fear. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
does that feel weird as a man saying that?
Yeah, I mean it has, but it's also very invigorating and fucking like it's just so enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because on the other side of that, like, you know, they always say on the other side of your fears is like the life you want to live. So it's right. Like accepting that and moving in a way that's essentially uncomfortability, realistically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just you challenging your triggers, and because fear is really
that's something. That's a bar. Yeah, challenging your triggers.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, fear is things that haven't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? So you only feel that way because you are telling yourself that you're afraid
something
because something bad can possibly you see the potential dangers of it. Yeah. And so it's just a balance of being fearless and being reckless. You don't want to be reckless. You just got to be fearless and just have discernment to realize not where to be reckless.
So a lot has changed since we first met. You have 2 daughters now?
Yeah.
Talk more to that. How's it feel to be a father? How's it feel to be pop?
It's the best shit in the world, bro. It's the best shit in the fucking world, dog.
Tell me what that girl dad life is like.
Dog, girl dad.
You having tea parties? Bro. You doing hair?
See, okay. I ain't gonna flaws. No. We keep it a buck. I'm pretty sure me and Riley done did a tea party or two when she was younger. Me and her haven't done any tea parties. She's one.
Okay.
Heart 7. I mean Raleigh's 7. Now.
Okay.
But bro, you know, like, you know me, I'm a huge Kobe fan. Kobe was a girl dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like it only for, you know, for me, I embrace that shit wholeheartedly, bro. I love it because, like, I mean, for me, really, I feel like spiritually, like I've had enough experience where I've studied and had experience and teachings from just about every religion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the only reason I say is religion. The etymology is like separatism, like anything that's like of separatism ain't God.
We as human beings, we always find these ways to. We all start off in the same direction,
right?
And then we start picking off parts of the highway where we go our own different ways. And then some people try to play it cool, and then you come to a fork in the road and you have to make a decision.
Essentially, for me, God is love, of course, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, just accepting what is and not trying to change it. Yeah. But changing only what you can. Yeah. You know, and you still gotta have fun, but when it came to that sense of, what did you bring up? You brought up
fatherhood.
Yeah, fatherhood and shit like that. Like, I feel like that balance comes from like having a like daughter, like. So, like, as a man, hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah, we on the same page.
So, as a man, like, I feel like woman would be like essentially like our God. Like, a black woman would be our God. Okay. And it's yin and yang. Like, so God to me would, I believe, I say God is a woman because just like as is below is, as is above, so is below. Like, all of those shits is like all over like most spiritual texts. There's certain things that always coincide amongst all spiritual texts, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like when you see like Mother Earth, like Mother Nature, like there's I think 98% of every species in the world that like reproduces is usually female. Right. Like, there's only like a small percentage of like men.
Yeah, so life,
you know what I'm saying?
So you're basically taking,
like
life comes from a woman, so basically
comes from a woman, but the balance of it is like her being as universal and like so complete that she is, that there needs to be a sense of protection to it all as well, because it's like the greater plan, but somebody has to protect it, which is the black man. So the balance of the yin and yang, the Holy Trinity. I want to speak
more towards that balance.
The yin and yang, the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit was the mother, like the black woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was that whole, you know what I'm saying, for us, where really, you know what I'm saying, outside of any religious text, but just spiritual text, period.
Going back to that balance and being a girl dad, right? Yeah. How did that change how you viewed women, how you want to raise women, and how you behave with women?
That's why I love it so much. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raised by strong women, you know what I'm saying? And they did the best that they could. But like I said, being able to be a leader as far as a father, but being able to serve my daughter and get one, you know what I'm saying, ultimately want to give them the world. So it's like it challenges you throughout your process, like constantly, just to be.
What's the greatest challenge?
Right now, just time. Time, like, for the like, because my time is my freedom, it's my currency. You know what I'm saying? And being able to spend as much of that with them, whatever I'm doing, is like my ultimate goal. Right. Like I told you, like if we was gonna do this podcast this weekend and I was gonna have her, like I would have loved to have her. Like with me, you know what I'm saying? Like that would have been lit. Like I would have been so with that. Like,
right.
I would have been so with
what
that.
What's your biggest fear or challenge with besides time? When you look at what you're supposed to provide as a man for two girls looking at you, you are a representation of what a man's supposed to be for them. What things do you do daily that you do differently now, opposed to before you were a father?
I think just my overall and thought of like other people, you know what I'm saying? Understanding like.
Expound on that.
Before I had a child, like it's easier to only think about yourself and, excuse me, you can kind of be selfish in your ways, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And just not knowing,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Or like not being raised or just not being a part of your environment that you was growing up in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like not a habit, you know what I'm saying? It's like a learn, you know what I'm saying?
You have to unlearn behaviors.
Yeah, you have to unlearn to learn, you know what I mean, other ones. And so when since I've had daughters, it's definitely made me a lot more compassionate, you know what I'm saying? Understanding general. Like I was always an angry person. Like not really, more so like outburst wise, but like the way I held shit in. Because when when I, you know what I'm saying, when it get to the time of like actually turning up, it's like, oh shit, wait, hold on, we just haven't, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't really like getting there because of just like, you know, just certain traumas and triggers just from my childhood that just like caused me to be angry in certain instances, and like, you know, you just got to deal with it and kind of, you know, address it.
Your traumas and your triggers.
Yeah.
Earlier you spoke to challenging your traumas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, challenging your triggers.
Yeah.
What do you do to defeat your traumas or manage your traumas so you don't pass it on to your children?
Well, my biggest thing now is just not allowing myself to make mistakes, but also not allowing.
That's a hard ask, though. We're human, so we make mistakes.
But that's probably one of my toughest things is because I'm so hard on myself. Like I'm not gentle with myself enough as much as I am with everybody else. Like because I have great aspirations and I expect great things of myself, then I don't allow myself the room to pacify myself as much as I feel like it's pacifying. Like I should probably just ease up, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You got tomorrow, like, you know what I'm saying? But I really do get caught up in certain shit, which allows for shit to just kind of like be a domino effect in either positive or adverse situations. So either it falls into like depression or like, nigga, we on the roll and we on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just either that.
Have you changed any of your coping mechanisms over the years, or what is your coping mechanism or your outlet now?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten better. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything is always a work in progress, but I'm just a lot more cognizant, you know what I'm saying? A lot more aware. Like, so we still gotta have fun. We still gotta enjoy life just as much as, you know what I'm saying, we gotta, you know, be more, like I said, compassionate, or, you know what I'm saying, understanding of ourselves and our emotions, and just knowing really, all right, bro, like this shit is gonna trigger you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, understand what that comes with. Like,
have you identified your triggers?
Yeah. That's why, like, I'm very happy about where I am in life, because like that's why I'm able to challenge them. Because if I didn't know what they were, then this would just be like me learning the lesson, not just like overcoming the lesson.
And listening to your music, I got different sides of you that I didn't know were there. Can you speak towards Walt the artist?
Oh yeah, leader of the real. Leader of the real. That's leader of the real all day. Like, because me as a person, in my life, my voice has been like suppressed. Like,
so naturally you got a microphone.
Yeah, so yeah, but like that's the thing though. Like, even in like church and shit, that's where it started. Like, we were always in like church.
You know the fact that you said church and shit.
Yeah. That's the embodiment of God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you just gotta understand it's the balance of it. Like,
yeah. You crazy?
Because there was a whole bunch of shit going on in church. Trust me.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, I know. I think we all know. Unless you walk in the room, eyes wide shut, you know.
You feel me? That's what I'm saying. Like, let's not play the fool.
And if we're being honest, that's the reality show for a lot of artists. You know what I'm saying? They going for the word and the show.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. We were always on stage, sound engineering and shit for the plays, and I did both. Like, in between like scenes, I'm going back up to the booth to like, you know what I'm saying, do certain other scenes and the lighting, and I used to be in like the Hispanic heritage dances and shit like that in school, and like it was just like, bro, like I was just always on stage, like, and it was never like I couldn't actually.
Was it a comfort zone for you, or was it just something that?
It was something that I naturally gravitated towards. Like, it was just like I loved doing. You know what I'm saying? It was just like another able like a way kind of to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? So. It was. I mean, realistically, it was dope, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That just kind of gave me the confidence of being on stage and public speaking and shit like that. And then once I went off to college and came back and kind of was able to like shift and kind of become my own and truly hone my voice is where I really just like truly started expressing myself. Right. Like, as an artist, like when I first started off, I was just super lyrical because I was just like. That was the type of music that I listened to, and like. So
you tried to put together all the metaphors.
Yeah. And then it was just like I found out like how to have fun. Like, you gotta have fun, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have some real personality when, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at now. Like, I'm just very confident in like who I am. So my music represents that. You know, and so Brave Soldier was like a prequel to that, honestly. Like, because Brave Soldier was like. Pandemic vibes. Yeah. Like, that was all like, you know what I'm saying? So everything,
it was like a conversation with yourself. And,
exactly. It was exactly.
Towards the end of the project, there seems to be a conflict between an activist and another activist, or people that have a want for change, but there seems to be a separation on how to get that said change. Can you speak more towards the infighting that we seem to have in your work in the streets and in political situations that you see that seems to be the most prevalent?
I'm glad you brought that up, because like I was trying to figure out what would encompass like that whole message, like totally in words, like words is like that record, like, but communication is everything. Like, communication, and like I said, because especially us as black men, our voices have been suppressed for so long.
Where do you think they come from?
Well, that just becomes from like slavery, honestly. Like, at least black men in America, like that just comes from slavery. Like that, like, you know, we were never allowed to be ourselves truly here. Like, that was the whole like buck breaking and like all of that shit. Like, that was like really a part of like slave culture. Like, the black man and a woman, and then they realized that after they killed Martin. Like, after they killed Martin, that's when they really realized, oh nah, we can't have these niggas like all as like a whole household, because they still thrive. Like, we were still getting married throughout slavery, and you know what I'm saying? Still finding ways to thrive. And then like afterwards, it was like,
you gotta destroy the home.
We gotta destroy these motherfuckers and drugs, crack. Like, that's what
a multitude of ways.
Right after that, we gotta figure out, bitch, we got to drug their ass. We gotta do something.
That speaks to what we were talking about in all my time of like all the volunteer work that I did, all these different organizations, I realized I went there. I think I originally started going to. I think I went to the first protest. And I want to say it was shortly after Philando Castile, his shooting, and then the protest. And I just started talking to different people from different walks of life, and then everybody started telling me what organization and what problem they were working on and what their organization working on. People working for Black women's rights, people working for homeless women, single mothers, people that were in domestic violence situations. And then what I noticed, it was so many problems, it seemed like we couldn't necessarily get everybody working in one direction because it was so many things we were trying to fix at once. And what you said, from a legislation standpoint, we had rules put in place to hinder us, redlining, drugs in the community, the different ways to destroy the household, incentivizing women to not have men in the houses because it'll cut off their checks and access to certain jobs and certain government aid. Can you speak towards what your music, what musical topics that you would generate unity with? And you also have a record called Unity. I
mean, yeah. Nah, that's just shout out to like Queen Law. Like that was an old, cause I'm just such a hip hop fan. Like I always like finding ways to find inspiration in different ways outside of actually sampling a record to, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah,
like I did with somebody, with somebody. You did know what I'm saying? The Outcast. Well, no, with
Get Up and Get Out, Get Something.
Yeah, but then that hook is Sister Act. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention.
Okay, I was focused on the.
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, bro. Like seeing shit like that, like it's just nostalgic as fuck. Like, cause I was sitting in the studio.
It's funny how that went over my head. My brother, you met my brother, right?
Yeah, I believe I met your brother maybe once or twice.
I brought him to a couple. Yeah. So he had this thing where he would always watch one movie. I swear he watched that one movie for the whole month, every single day. So that was one of the movies they got put in rotation. It's kind of like Chinese water torture, where they just drip the water and just like.
That's the only thing.
That's what we watching. He watches movies like how kids watch, like when they get one cartoon and they like, oh, we're gonna watch this every single day. It's like, oh man, he used to torture me with that. Yeah, he really used to torture me with that.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So, when it comes to my music, man, like I really just like leader the real, like I can't speak about anything other than what I've been through. You know what I'm saying, or having the experience of hearing about experience vicariously through somebody, and it's like so wild that it's like, damn, like somebody need to tell that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? And being able to put myself there, you know what I'm saying, in that ways, that's the only way I feel like, but I'm always like cognizant of how I do that as well too, you know what I'm saying?
What's the most tense moment you had during a protest or a march or just anything out like politically wise?
I won't say I had anything like too like I mean, other than when Obama won, like when I was at Ferment.
What you do?
Bro, you know, bro, just came. This is what he was second time around.
Yeah.
My president is, bro. I had this loud ass stereo system. Everybody knew it, bro. It was like notorious. Like I could turn my shit up, bro, and you could hear it 3 dorms down. Like if you like,
oh, you were that guy,
bro. No, but I'm saying it was only like on like weekends. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody was blasting shit.
I just went to Jeezy.
Yeah, but that night, bro, niggas got that Jeezy all night, bro. We was athletes and shit. So it was like, bro, like nigga, we running in our teammates' room. Whoa! Like
crazy.
We going crazy, bro. That was a good time, bro. It was a good time.
Okay.
It was a good time.
What's the one thing people don't know about you that they will get from your music?
probably that I'm as cold as I am with my music. For real, bro. Because like, bro, I think a lot of people know me as a person and they feel like I'm a dope person.
Yeah.
And they've always seen me putting on these shows and these dope events, and like, you know what I'm saying, I've always had this, you know, conscious attitude for community, you know what I'm saying? And like, it wasn't always about me, and like, so people always gravitated to that because it was never about me. It was always be like, bro, you dope as fuck. And then it was like, yeah, I do music too. And then so people also saw me, there were certain people that were like, you know what I'm saying, like the Six Figures, the, you know what I'm saying, the Free Air Free Waters, the ISMs, you know what I'm saying, Euro got it, who is now Euro got it, but he was Major League Euro when he performed at Raps for Raps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Willie Hen, like, it was all of these people who I actually had either performed with or allowed them to have the opportunity to like listen to my music back then, you know what I'm saying? When I was still trying to find a balance of being an artist and learning how to be, you know what I'm saying, own my own business, you know what I'm saying, and as far as what me and Tay was doing. And so for a long time it became about, you know, she told me, she was like, you know, as far as what we truly trying to do, like, I need you to lock in and learn whatever it is that we need to understand business wise so that we can thrive in that way. So when we in these rooms, you know what you're talking about as well, and know how to assert yourself in a way as to say what it is that you're there to offer, you know what I mean? Not just always me speaking or whatever the case is, just having that balance.
Yeah.
And for a while, it just took me a while, and then I was released, you know, trying to re-record like certain projects, and just now it's just time to the point where I just got into a point of just being like, bro, like, I'm not waiting anymore, like. And even Brave Soldier.
Did you have a eureka moment in which that light or that realization hit you?
I feel like it's been a process and shit. It was probably like when me and my baby mama split. for real.
Why do men always find themselves throwing themselves on the work after a woman break them?
Bruh, because but it was because I knew it was like my fuck ups in the situation. So essentially, like,
I was about to turn to a relationship pod.
No, I'm just saying, me being better. Like,
you got caught up.
Okay, so I mean, we go do it. Like, it is what it is.
Like,
like,
we here now.
So yeah, we here now. Like, so me and my daughter's mom, we were in a poly relationship, right? And
you're a poly guy.
Yeah, and so.
We just took a left turn.
At this.
We about to go somewhere very interesting.
So essentially, like,
how long have you been poly?
About 2 years.
I mean, so you new to the life.
Well, I'm gonna say like actively as like asserting myself in that sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I've
always. What
always.
led you to that?
Huh?
What led you to that?
Realistically, just like fucking the truth of the matter, like, of knowing where we really come from, bro. Like, like.
So you don't think
like,
you can be monogamous?
Huh?
You don't think you can be monogamous, or you don't think you were designed to be monogamous?
Being monogamous, I don't think is a problem because I've done it.
Okay.
Like, that's I think the design that doesn't make sense for me.
Okay.
In the sense of understanding that, like, the value that polygamy has, especially from like monogamy essentially came from like religion.
Yeah.
And
I mean, but polygamy also did too.
But even where we come from, it was more so about a village aspect. It was always the village to raise the child, where we thrived. You know what I'm saying? In ways where.
So let me ask you this:
we didn't have certain there weren't certain inconsistencies as far as like the type of responses that we were getting from our men to women interactions. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like jealousy and like, you know, all of those things really weren't as apparent because it was like everybody understood the balance of what it was that they were doing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's tackle some misconceptions surrounding poly, right?
Yeah.
So most people think a man is pro polygamy because he wants to have multiple women and multiple sexual interactions with these women, right, in the form of threesomes, foursomes, or however, right, he can run up, right?
Right.
Is that true or no?
No, that shouldn't be the basis of
so
what
you do like threesomes?
No, I mean you do. I mean, I don't think that any man wouldn't say that they don't. Like,
so do you expect your wives to interact with each other sexually?
If they choose to, but they also should know prior to whatever the contract that it is that they're agreeing to before they enter it.
Right.
Because you should know if you're whether you're a spouse being added to or there's a contract being added to whatever agreement that's already established, then you have to be, both sides have to be welcoming of whatever the new contract is. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's being proposed.
So are you in a situation where there's going to be multiple wives, sister wives, for lack of a better term, or is it a situation where your wife can have another husband as well?
Well, I feel like, me personally, when it comes to like women, like, all right, so I feel like women can do so much outside of what we expect them to do a lot of the time, like
meaning men.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Because when we look at as far as in the sense of like when we had the wars and shit like that, like when women took over the country, it was like, bro, we had the economy like bounce back. You feel me? Like they were doing the manlier job. You know what I'm saying? They were doing essentially like the manlier jobs, and like so that's why there's always the conflict of like pay. Why do women do just as equal or better jobs in certain cases and get paid less than? So I get it. But in the same sense, when it comes to like even like population, like the dating ratio in Atlanta is 16 to fucking 1. Like I'm gonna find more of you than you will find of me. Realistically, like a nigga like me, I tell myself like.
So you're basing your polyamorous thoughts on the ratio of women to
No. That's just in the world, though. In the world.
I mean, it won't just be in the city, but I'm saying is that factors into your ideas of polyamorous relationships.
I feel like that's just nature, though, as well. Like that's just not about a.
So what would you say to a woman that says, I don't have to share my man with anyone?
She has that right. She has that right. If she finds a man that agrees to her contract, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that you have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying in the sense of being poly, like I'm open to, like I'm not gonna just limit it to say myself I'm just monogamous. You know what I'm saying? Because like at the same time, if like.
For you
a woman, I feel like a man has to respect you to the same level and value that I do. Like I can't never tell you that you're not gonna want another man outside of me.
You will welcome or invite your women to have other men
if they respect them and value them of the same level, and we can all agree on that same like level that you did with the women that we have in our lives.
Okay, so let's say this. For the sake of numbers, say you have two women, you guys occupy the same household, and both of them want to explore other partners. How does that interaction work?
Well, I would say healthily, it would start off with dating, them getting to know somebody in the same way that I got to know them, in a way that's.
Does dating include sex to you?
I don't feel like it should until it's at least expressed to your partner that you feel like it should be. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's just a realistic, necessary ask, depending on who you know what I'm saying? Because some people may say like, no, it doesn't matter. Or
what would lead to a person leaving that household occupied by, hypothetically, two women, one man? What would lead to the rotation of people or someone entering or exiting? Just a violation of the contract, or?
I mean, I think you just got to be real with yourself and just understand that it's just not an overall sense of like it doesn't work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because how I really in my sense of how I truly view it is like I'm gonna have a partner, and like I love you, bro. Like, I love you. I love you to death. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing nobody can do about that. There's nothing that nobody can do about that. But I know just as much as, like, I'm not blind and you not blind and we both still human. And to me, realistically, like, sex isn't yes, it's very spiritual. So I feel like you should be very intentional about it. But I feel like if you have a community or a village of like-minded people, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's some type of connection or honest
explanation.
To me, like, I'm not like, bruh, we are here. We got one life to live, bro. We got one life to live, and you finna say I gotta just spend it with one person for 50 years? That don't sound like a full life experience to me.
I'm not challenging you on that. So my next question would be, I usually have this talk with women and men, and it usually causes a lot of controversy. So get ready for it. All right, so how... I love this conversation. That's why I was like, God damn it, you so... Hey, this is the one thing that I actually didn't play. I have a tendency to do that.
That's dope. So you know I got one for you. So you know,
yeah.
You know I'm coming for you now.
Okay. So the women that have the freedom to explore other partners, let's say how you spoke earlier, you don't expect the women to interact with each other sexually?
I mean, I feel like that would be common knowledge, so everybody understands that. You know what I'm saying? Like communication is everything.
So what's the difference between polyamorous relationships and people that identify themselves as swingers, or is there no difference?
Honestly, I was asking my daughter's mom that. I think in the sense of when it comes to polyamory, what I understand now is that you're allowed to actually establish like other like relationships out. But I think too, realistically, I feel like too, like if you said you were a swinger, you should do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't just be you just like randomly fucking. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It should be people that you kind of have that you're into. Yeah. That are a couple, and y'all would just, you know what I'm saying, whatever y'all agree upon.
So do you swing?
Have I? Like, I mean, I haven't.
Do you or have you? Hey, we just want to say what else.
No. I like I said, I'm more so new, but I mean, I've been in environments, I guess, like where it's not like a.
Okay, don't take this the wrong way, but for a woman to expect, or has a fantasy, she wants men to interact with each other. Has that been brought to you?
Oh no, that's just never a question. I mean, like anybody I've ever dealt with, like I'm just more so like upfront, like.
But to the person that would say, might spin it to a woman and say you're being closed-minded by not being accepting to the idea of polyamory, how would you respond to a woman that says you're not being open-minded to that interaction?
Well, I don't mind her feelings, you know what I'm saying? Just I respect it, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how you feel.
I mean, at least it was being communicated, but it has to be communicated.
It was communicated. But at the same time, me personally, that's just not my interest. Like, I'm not interested in, like, you know what I'm saying? Realistically, like, I tell people all the time, bro, like, and I have no problem saying this shit anymore. Like, I was, like, molested when I was, like, 4 years old, bro. So it's like, no, like, that to me alone was like, no, bro. Like, no. Like, no. Like, I know for some people that's a triggering moment to where it leads to you to feel some other type of feelings, or curiosities.
In my experience with talking to women, most of them, well, I've met men and women that have been molested, but it usually drives in two directions. Where is either you have a situation where you look at sex as something shameful and you're ashamed based upon what happened to you, and then the other side of it where you might be more promiscuous and you're trying to take the power of the action away to lessen what was done to you, and sometimes it generates certain triggers. It generates in itself, it manifests itself in relationships or lack of the skills to maintain one. So I mean it generates so many different things, but
right.
So going back to the poly, right? Not to sexualize it. I mean, obviously the first thing most people do is sexualize it. What are the ways that, from a community standpoint, that made you pro that lifestyle?
Well, I mean, I think first you just got to be realistic. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? One person can't do everything. It would be great. You know what I'm saying? But even the people that we idolize or people might look at that feel like they, you know, you might think this might be a monogamous relationship. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't know what goes behind, you know what I'm saying,
no
these
one knows.
closed doors, bro. And I feel like we just got to have healthy conversation about it, because whether you agree with it or you don't, like, it's happening, you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like it's like the new weed stigma. You feel me? Of how it was. You can find so many benefits in it, but yet and still people just look at it like, bro, why? Like, you smoke weed? Like, you smoke weed? Oh, you say you pot? Like, bro, like, it's like, bro, it brought so much benefits to the community. What the fuck are we sitting here being so shameful about it for?
So name some of the benefits.
I mean, you allow your community to be a community by essentially having partners that are intentional about everything that they do and have a specificity as far as feeling a need for the overall group, not just for themselves, but for the overall group. So whether that be just, like I said, me having my partner and then us just having a community of people that we trust, you know what I'm saying, that fulfill those different types of needs.
So do you have conversations with other men about the community?
Yeah, of course, the men that I would choose to be in that community, but I haven't even started building that for myself, you know what I'm saying, essentially, because like, it was like, you know what I'm saying, I can't really do that without like a partner, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can still be I'm part of, you know what I'm saying, or understanding of it, but not established in it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you still need to have somebody else to do it with. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. Like, it's probably not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a solo amagus or whatever Maya is. Shout out to Maya. She fine as fuck. I love Maya.
So, you funny. So, from a parenting standpoint, can you name the differences or maybe the changes of social taboos or what's being fed to the children in versus a monogamous relationship versus polygamous?
I mean, everything that's legal ain't right, and everything that's illegal ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everything that's shameful ain't, you know what I'm saying, doesn't have some type of value. Like, it's like, life is balanced, man, and people gotta understand that. Like, you gotta.
So would you support your daughters being polygamous?
If they find a healthy community to find that they, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like whether people are monogamous or like they consider it monogamy or not, like, bro, like, if you still allow your partner to have the freedom to explore to themselves, like, because like, and we're gonna generalize it sexually, you know what I'm saying?
I want to shift it off of sex.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it's such a relationships because it's more of a, because in that sense it's more of a it becomes about business. It becomes about community. It becomes something about greater than you.
That's what I want to speak towards.
It becomes about something greater than you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Multiple incomes, or you have a man that takes care of everything financially, and the women take care of the house, and then it's like balance.
Yeah,
I'm speaking from a man's standpoint.
But you have women who want to work. You have women who want to stay home. Mm-hmm. You have men who might want to stay home and work. You know
a situation where one woman wants to have children and the other one doesn't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's so many different shifts and chains and balances that you can use, like that you can essentially categorize as poly, you know what I'm saying? But people just automatically just say like, oh, like this is just like sex based, but it's like, nah, bro, like this is the old fucking adage, like it takes a child to raise a village, like because the community was fucking each
village
other.
To raise a child.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child, because the village was fucking each other. Like that's just the truth, bro. Like I don't get why niggas don't understand that, bro. Like we knew such and such was sleeping with such and such in the church, and all of these old, like even just modern day, but like back from what we say they, you know what I'm saying, where we originate from and shit like that. It's like, because I mean you still got natives that was still like here, and they had more sense of community, you know what I'm saying, than what we have even now as African Americans. Like, so it's like the natives, and even back home in Africa, it was like they understood that. That never stopped nothing. But as soon as the white man they come with laws and everything else and give you the glitz glamour, the whole instructions, and beat you over the head with it, and this is the manual, this is the only way to do it, and there ain't no other way to do it, then we just got lost in that. Yeah. And then everything that's natural to us feels wrong. We can't even wear our hair. We can't even wear our hair and feel comfortable in that. Yeah, like, and there's nothing wrong with how anybody does it. But
I want to touch on what you said earlier about weed being criminalized and have walking around with a stigma. What's your take on Sha'Carri Richardson?
Bruh, it's so tough because, like, I lost my mother when I was 15. You know what I'm saying, on Thanksgiving. And so it's like, if I was smoking weed then, nigga, I probably would have, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And granted, like, I was in high school then, and like, it wouldn't have affected anything, you know what I'm saying, unless like I was just like reckless about it. Yeah. But I can understand the emotion behind exactly what the fuck she did. Absolutely. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think any person that has empathy and understanding of the human condition and our experience in, the course of our life, they can understand being in a place where you need some sort of coping mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah. And her, that happening, and it being legal where she was, like, I feel like that's the fucked up part about it. I feel like that's the part that triggers me, that I don't agree with, but also the rules, knowing the rules. Yeah, she did break the rules, bro. So yeah, you should, but I just don't like how they do us in those situations. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. Like, in the Olympics, been showing their ass like prior to.
Yeah, because it goes beyond America, and then you see the world, how the world views people of different colors and races and religions.
Yeah, and I just really don't like how they've been, like, you know what I'm saying, how we've been treated prior to just the games period. So it's like,
well, she still has an opportunity to medal. It just won't be in the
but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like even the lack of consideration, or just like lack of empathy for that. You know what I'm saying? Of just the world, the committee, or whoever the fuck it is, just being a human being at that point, and just being like, we can't fuck this up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she's a person, bro. She's still a fucking child, and she just lost her mother. Like, and it was legal where she was. You feel me?
Yeah,
So I feel like in that sense, that like if she was in a completely different state, like and it wasn't legal at that point, all right, bro, not a 30, but at least let's give her 15s to where she can't run in her next race, but she can run at the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm like, come on, fool. Like, let's be fucking human beings about this shit, bro. That just don't make no sense, bro. Like where's the full? Well, like, we're not doing anybody any justice in the sense of her not running in the race.
Well, one thing that I think
she's the fastest woman in the fucking world right now, and she's not gonna be able to run.
Yeah, she's not gonna be able to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck does that do? Like, that does nobody no good, bro. Like,
well, what I noticed in a lot of these situations, when you have tradition that's been put in place by, based on decades and hundreds of years, it becomes such an institution where people are very immobile and not understanding and flexible on elevating or changing with the times. The room for elevation. I mean, that's why we have so many roadblocks in when it comes to government and the things that just been in place for a long time. It's hard to get that done because now what if the standard has been generated in something and the foundation was wrong to begin with, it's hard to knock down the entire house and dig up the foundation versus starting from scratch. I mean, that's essentially what you have to do, but there's so many people that build something on top of that foundation, they don't want to let that go. So that's one of the things that happens with especially with committees in different countries being involved, such as something as big as the Olympics.
Yeah, bro. That's why I got like unity.
I mean, she's still young. She's still young enough to understand. Well, I'm not understand, but she's still young enough to compete in the next games.
Nah, fuck that, bro. Like,
I mean, it's over now. Like, it's over now. It's over now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I understand. I want to run, and I want to
be making me mad because it's like, she got next time. But like, damn, well, we know she gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what life gonna be in 4 years, bro.
Right,
like,
you never know. But I mean, but it goes back to what you're saying. Like, when a person knows the rules, it's like, honestly, I don't smoke weed, and I've never been a user of it because of the type of work that I've always done. But it's funny because I don't like alcohol, and if I did do anything, it would probably be edibles or weed. Whether smoking or in herbal tea or anything like that, but I know the consequences that come with it based on the work that I do. Mm-hmm. So I just never, I never did it.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, she knew the rule.
No, which is respectable. Right.
Yeah, just you have to understand what building you're in.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's young. She made a mistake, and whether we think it's right or wrong is like, honestly, I don't think she wants to. I think she's gonna benefit from it in the long run via being the lightning rod for this rule change, if there's a rule change. But still, I think she would rather go run that 100-meter, stand on that podium with a gold medal to come home with.
Bro, it just sucks, bro, because my heart goes out to her. Shout out to Shikari, man, because she, like, it's just,
I just want the world to know that
as far as, like,
I'm that girl.
And, like, knowing exactly what that feels like, and then to have one of the biggest races of your life, coming up.
And then public embarrassment on top of it, too.
Right,
and that's
like people making you feel ashamed about what it is that you did, bro. Because it's like, you never know what somebody was dealing. You don't know what she was dealing with, like.
Right. I mean, we never know. I mean, that's the thing with the internet as well, too, because like, you have these scenarios in which people are not emotionally invested in a person's life, so it's hard for them to emotionally connect and sympathize or empathize in those situations. And I even made a joke, and then I read into it further. I didn't come down hard on her. I just made a joke in light of the situation. But at the same time, I have understanding that she's a human being. She's 21. She's under a lot of stress as is anyway. And you training for something that happens once every 4 years. And you weren't able to do it last year because of, global pandemic. It's a hard thing to deal with in understanding the course of your life has changed with just one decision, just like that. And as you get older, like, I think people see that and see how valuable these moments are and how you don't have a chance to go back and get them, because like you said, you never know what's going to be with the next 4 years. Mm-hmm. If she's still going to have the speed, or the field may catch up to her by then. I don't know. We never know. And I don't think she'll understand. Well, it's not that she won't understand, but she just never get this moment back.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I feel like there's so much like lack of like empathy in this situation, because it's like, yo, like I feel like as humans, bro, like people, we gotta stop being so. Motherfuckers is so sensitive nowadays, but they're so fucking desensitized. It's like everything is so uncensored and right in front of your fucking face, but everybody is so fucking soft.
It's kind of like text messages that you read the wrong way.
Exactly. It's like, bro, like, bro, you made me feel some type of way by the way that you text me. Bitch, how the fuck I made you feel some type of way when I said what I said, but you don't even know the context in which I was saying it, but you decided to interpret it how you feel.
Well, I think a lot of times too, and I've encountered this, and before I went to therapy and after, I've noticed it a lot more. A lot of people get very sensitive in the idea of being held accountable for their actions. It makes them run, or it makes them attack you because they get defensive, and it's just the defense mechanisms that people do. And then you have these scenarios in which, when you don't necessarily have to have an uncomfortable conversation. Does not need to be a full out assault in battle. It's just a meeting of the minds, and where philosophy was like lost in translation, or a misunderstanding,
right?
Or somebody could just mess up and they just don't want to own up to it.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to run from that moment, and that's where I applaud her at, because she leaned into it. She didn't run from it. She didn't come up with one of these gimmick excuses, and she accepted her fate.
Yeah,